Hello. I was not planning to make another Linux video so soon. The plan was to make a game-related video next and maybe make a Linux video probably by the end of the year or so. But I did not expect the amount of comments that I got in the last video, and I just wanted to address them, seeing that many of them were talking about the same points. Starting with a few of you that told me that Parsec runs on Linux. Yes, I know that. I did not say that it didn't. In fact, I was using back when this machine was still on Windows. The thing is, you can use Parsec as a client, but not as a host. And that is my precise issue with Parsec at the moment. There is no hosting for Linux. And until that time, I probably will just use no machine until they sort that out. I heard of another solution called AnyDesk, but I have not used that yet. But at the moment, I'm just using everything locally. I don't rely on remote desktops as much as I used to, mainly because the environment I work in does not have a good internet connection. And with the Windows software support, a lot of you suggested I try Bottles and also told me that Proton works with Windows software outside of Steam. The thing is, I've used Bottles. It was one of the first solutions I tried using, and it didn't work out with the software that I have. That said, I think I didn't use it properly. That's why it did not run the software that I needed. And I didn't mention that I only use Bottles with Zorin and Pop! OS, but I haven't tried it on Manjaro. And I did download the software again to try it on Bottles here on Manjaro. Maybe this time I'll be a little bit luckier. If I'm doing anything wrong, you can always comment below and tell me what I'm doing wrong. So let's call out Bottles. Waiting for it to load. Bottles make running Windows software on Linux much easier. I did definitely hope so. Let's install a bit of coffee until it's done. Right now I've only downloaded Scrivener and Scalpel. Those are the two main programs that I wanted to have running on Linux. Previously I wanted Clip Studio Paint, but I wasn't using it for drawing specifically. I don't draw by hand as much as I used to. I was basically using it as an alternative to Photoshop, just like to edit and crop images and stuff like that. But currently, I'm just using Procreate on my iPad for sketches. That's kind of necessary for my game development. But currently I'm using a program called Krita for the image resizing. That is doing a pretty good job. Anyway, we got Bottles ready. Create new bottle. Let's call it Scrivener. Application, create. If I remember correctly, the last time I tried doing this, the setup kind of worked until almost near the end. From there, it just stopped working and I couldn't even run the software afterwards. But let's try it this time. Okay, now that we have a Scrivener bottle set up, we'll just have to go to Downloads, Download Files, and Scrivener. So far, so good. Okay, this is the regular setup, except next. I remember the first time I used Bottles, it bricked my laptop and I had to reinstall Zorin all over again. We have installed Scrivener, but yeah, this is pretty much what happens. Let's try again, but for Scalpel. By the way, Scrivener and Scalpel are like these writing programs. Scrivener is more like of a manuscript and script writing, while Scalpel is more like a mind map software. one of the more elegant ones, I might add. I think it runs beautifully. Okay. Next. Going. Finish. Well, Firefox stopped working for some reason, but now we're on the desktop, so I had a hunch maybe the programs were opening at the back, but I'm not seeing anything. But yeah, as you can see, it's not exactly working. I tried going into... I was trying to find like the bottles thing once to figure out like if I could just open it from there, but I kind of did not get anything. If someone can tell me how to get these programs to work on bottles, like I would be more than grateful. A lot of you suggested that I take a look at Fedora. It was one of the operating systems that I was considering while I was distro hopping before I settled with Manjaro. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I know that it uses an unmodified vanilla version of GNOME, and I think that's really cool. But like here are like some of the features. Like this is the workstation version, which is basically the version of the OS where you can install on desktops or laptops. Fedora Workstation, this is the Linux workstation you've been waiting for. Created for developers, Fedora Workstation is a reliable, user-friendly, and powerful operating system for your laptop or desktop computer. It supports a wide range of developers, from hobbyists and students to professionals in corporate environments. Sleek user interface. Focus on your code in GNOME 40 desktop environment. GNOME is built with developer feedback and minimizes distractions so you can concentrate on what's important. Complete open source toolbox. Skip the drag of trying to find or build the tools you need. With Fedora's complete set of open source languages, tools, and utilities, everything is a click or a command line away. There's even projects hosting and repositories like COPR to make your code and builds available quickly to the community. Get virtual machines up and running quickly to test your code on multiple platforms using GNOME boxes. This is also available on Manjaro, since I'm using the GNOME version of it. Or dig into powerful scriptable virtualization tools for even more control. Containerize, hack, deploy. Containerize your applications or deploy containerized applications out of the box with built-in Open Container Initiative, OCI image support. Like, sounds to me it's very similar to Manjaro. Like, from the looks of it, like in some of the screenshots here, it kind of looks like my build of Manjaro. Not saying it's a bad thing or anything, but maybe I don't need to switch to that. You saw the title of this video, so you know I'm gonna try it anyway. And as you might have seen, I do have an image of Fedora. I downloaded that, so we can give it a try here on this video. So let's open up boxes. This comes pre-installed on GNOME Manjaro. So basically, instead of installing clean install of an operating system on the machine, I thought I might as well just make a virtual machine so I can give it a try and then delete it if I don't want to use it anymore. If I do like it and do feel like I need to switch, I might do that much later. I just want to focus on the game rather than setting up a new system every few months. Inhibiting shortcut. Hello everyone. Hello. Alright, start Fedora. That should be... oh. Anyways, start Fedora. Yeah, so I'm just gonna try it from here first. Yeah, as you can see, it's very similar to Manjaro. Not that it's a bad thing or anything, but yeah, like it's very familiar to me. Like I don't see that much difference. Like I keep getting the dock from Manjaro here by mistake as well. So let's install it. Okay, this is a little bigger than I expected. Okay, English, States, new, keyboard, done. Installation destination, yep. Done. And that should be it. It's using to choose that one. Automatic. Full disk semi bootloader. Oh, that's the one I wanted to go for. Installation. Your current Fedora size of has available space. Claim space. Okay. Claim space. Begin installation. While it's installing, I wanted to talk a bit about the game. Currently, I am in the middle of redoing a lot of the game sprites. Originally, I was drawing the sprites from scratch using Hexels, which is the program that I use for drawing. And obviously, it takes a very long time to do anything in that process. And I came across this TikTok video on how to do pre-rendered sprites, like in the way games like Donkey Kong Country does. And I thought that was a very interesting way of doing things. I thought maybe doing low poly characters with cell shading, so I get a similar look to whatever I'm doing right now. So yeah, I currently built Feralda. She is the main character of the game. I finished modeling her and doing the UV maps, which is just to map out where the texture goes. And right now, I'm going to start working on the texture just so I can get the face, the details, the colors, and give it a test. The method does seem straightforward, but obviously it takes time to build any character, but the moment that it's ready and rigged, you should be able to just pose the characters and render them in the camera angles you want. And that way you don't have to draw anything from scratch again. Obviously I'll have to go in the render and fix a few things through pixel art just to get some of the details the way I want them. If done right, it's going to speed up the process of making sprites for the game. Right now, I'm just testing out Feralda. It's only going to be her sprites in the combat portion of the demo. If it works out, I'm going to start working on the rest of the characters and slowly implement this technique to the sprites in the cutscene demo. This way, even if I need to make new sprites and sprite animations, as I said, I don't need to redraw the sprites anymore. It's just posing. But even sometimes, certain sprites will have to be redone with small details, maybe the way they hold something, the way they walk, the way they stand. That's going to be much quicker. Once I finish her sprites and it works perfectly, I will get Sarah Bloom, who is one of the 3D modelers, the only other 3D modeler in the team, to help out with the rest of the characters. She is going to be modeling, rigging, and doing the UV maps of the characters. And I will be the one who is going to be dealing with the toon shader, the textures, the animation, and rendering them into the game or on the sprite sheet. This is going to speed up things for the better, hopefully. I hope the outcome of this test is going to be good because it's going to save me a lot of time in developing the game. Okay, so the installation is complete. Finish installation, and from here okay, so we are supposed to be having, just to be sure this is Fedora that I'm dealing with and not Manjaro, because I'm worried I might click something and turn it off. So let's restart Fedora. Okay, so we have it installed here now. Let's reboot. So yeah, we're back to Fedora now. Welcome to Fedora. Welcome to Fedora Linux 36. Setup will guide you through making an account and enabling some features. We'll have you up and running in no time. Start setup. Location, services, automatic reporting. Let's leave that for now. Repositories, enable. Repositories, for those who don't use Linux, is basically like the software manager and software stores, and like each version of Linux has like different ones, but there are a lot that are unifying between a lot of distros of Linux. So let's press next. I don't want to use any of my online accounts right now, so I'll skip that. Mohammed, that's not there. Enterprise login. Now let's just use some weak password because I'm not going to be using this much. Start using Fedora Linux, and there we have it. Welcome to GNOME 42. If you want to learn the way all the way around, check the tour. Let's take a tour. Let's see how it is. Maybe it's a little different to how it is on Manjaro. Start the tour. Learn about the key features in Fedora Linux 36 Workstation Edition. Get an overview, the super key. Super key being like the Windows key or Apple key. Apple key, like command, I mean CMD. So yeah, the open apps. Yeah, like this part here, like these are the different virtual desktops that I'm working on here. It's kind of similar to what's on Manjaro here. Only difference is that I do have an overview on top, but that's not like much of a difference. Okay, just type to search Firefox. Yeah, like same thing with Manjaro. Like both of them are using GNOME, so like I'm not surprised. Keep on top of workspaces, easily organized. This is for like if I'm on a laptop, so I'm on a desktop here using mouse. Left and right workspaces. That's it. Have a nice day. Okay, fine. Right, so let's go to settings. I want to check on something. First off, I do not like light mode. I prefer dark. And now it kind of looks like Manjaro. Let's put that away. Do I have layouts? No, I don't. Okay, so let's see the software. Okay, so this is kind of similar to the one that was on Zorin and Pop OS. Not so much like the one that's on Manjaro. Requires restart. Let's just download that for now. This will take a while, but until that happens, usually most of the software is the same. Most like software managers. Sometimes like one software is not available in the other. Obviously there's Blender, Reaper. That's not available here. You have to download it. Dropbox. Dropbox is not available. But I think like say for example, if you go to okay, so like you have the browser now. Dropbox Linux download. If you can't find it on the App Store, like sometimes you can just go to their website and they will have, like as you can see, there's a Fedora version here. Let's take a look at terminal. Not sure if it's any similar to neofetch. I found sudo install neofetch. Yes. Neofetch basically like tells you like what distro of Linux that you're using, what your hardware is and stuff like that. Sometimes like it's kind of useful to see. Like sometimes you want to show that like make sure that everything is running and everything. Also, like as you can see here, Fedora Linux workstation. Okay, no. Tells you like the uptime of like your current operation. Desktop environment is GNOME. Windows Manager is Mutter. Adwaita like is the theme that's currently running right now. For whatever reason, it says, yeah. What am I saying? It is Intel i7. I forgot. I've been using like my laptop like to work on the game, and I kind of forgot that I'm not on like a AMD Ryzen on this machine. But like for some reason the GPU is Red Hat Inc. Virtuo GPU, which does not make sense because this is an AMD Vega M on this machine. Go to about, it's software rendering, that's why. Sometimes like if you're using specific Linux kernels, some things don't work as intended, and you're kind of stuck using whatever is on there until you either update or downgrade the Linux kernel. It kind of doesn't make sense, at least to me, but I'm not going to be working on anything specifically on Fedora here. The system will automatically restart and install updates 60 seconds. Okay. But so far, it doesn't feel very different to Manjaro. Mainly because I'm using the GNOME version of Manjaro, so there's not that much reason to switch. But it does seem very good. Like I can see why a lot of you were telling me to give it a try. Okay, so everything is updated now. We go to software, everything is updated. Any day now. It has been installed. Yeah, so it's up to date now. Steam is available. Okay, Telegram's not available. We can just download that through the browser. Playdate. Okay, the Playdate SDK is not available. But like, as I said, like if it's not available on the repository, you could always you can install different repositories that will have the applications available, or you can download the software directly from the websites. So itch.io is not available. Go to the browser of our choice. In this case, it's Firefox since it's pre-installed. itch.io app. Download the itch.io app. Start download. Go to. Okay, so usually I would just go to allow executing file as program, and that will set it up for you. I think this wasn't available like when I first started using Linux. I don't remember what version of Ubuntu that I was using at the time. I think it was Ringtail or something from before that. Like it was some early version of Ubuntu, and something like this either like was there but I didn't know about this, or it just is not like wasn't available. You just had to go into would it do that? Oh. Like you will have to go into the terminal and install things through the terminal. That was an alien concept to me back at that time. But like now, like I'm used to this. Like I usually prefer just to use like something like the package manager on Manjaro to install stuff. But like whenever I really need to use the terminal, like I will have to Google how to do certain things and do it there. For example, like when I started using Manjaro, the webcam for some reason was at a different flickering rate than what I'm using. Like since I'm in the Middle East, we are a PAL region, and it was running at 60 hertz. That that gives out like an image with like moving lines, and like I had to write something on the terminal. There's a video about it on YouTube, not by me, by someone else, on how to fix that, and like it was just changing a certain parameter on the terminal. And this is basically the beauty of Linux. Like if there's something you don't like in it, you could always change it yourself. Anyway, itch. Yeah, so now we have the program running perfectly fine here. Itch. Yeah, for whatever reason it's not working. Maybe it's something to do with the virtual machine. But yeah, I think this is pretty alright. Like as I said, like this version of GNOME is no different to what I'm using on Manjaro. Let's take a look at the different backgrounds that are available. This is nice. Oh, this is beautiful. There's something about like a lot of these photos that you find on like Linux wallpapers. Like they're super gorgeous. I mean, I would argue that they're better looking than the ones available like on Windows or Mac OS. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Yeah, like I'm not seeing that many differences to Manjaro. I'm sure it's a really good OS and everything. If you prefer this, more power to you and everything, but I think I'll stick to Manjaro. So this is a tiny look at Fedora. I'm sure it's a really good operating system, given that it almost operates the same as Manjaro, mainly because it's using GNOME, let's be honest. Like whatever differences is that I'm missing kind of a few things here and there here in Fedora, but I'm sure like if I wanted to, I could just install the software that I need and all the other things in order to make it to run the way I have Manjaro running, but it's not that different. I hope you enjoyed this little look at Fedora, and I was genuinely surprised by the kind of feedback that I got from my last video. At most, I was expecting just a few views, maybe a little more than my usual monthly reports. Even while I'm recording this, the numbers are just going up, and it's making me really happy. I don't know what to ask of you folks to write in the comments, but I will leave this installation of Fedora on the system so I don't have to reinstall in case I missed something. So if I missed something here, you can write it in the comments telling me you didn't try out this on Fedora or something like that, and I'll take a look at it, and maybe I'll make another video, maybe I'll comment back to you. This is a pretty robust system here. I really have nothing to comment about it, So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll move now to talking about my game before I conclude all this. Roses Will Rise is a turn-based strategy RPG with visual novel elements. While the main game is free, it's supported by my generous patrons. You too can support me by going to my Patreon, and if you'd rather support me with a one-time payment, you can buy Roses Will Rise on my itch.io. You don't need to buy the game to play it, but supporting me will give you a bunch of goodies. And thank you for watching.